Leah, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Antoine. Very nice to meet you.
Leah, you moved from France to the UAE, and then you had a pretty good job. You were getting promoted year after year, and then suddenly you start your own business. So how does that happen? Why does one leave um, what looks like a pretty good career to start their own business?
Very interesting. So, I mean, I think different factors actually led me to do this choice. You know, when you're in a corporate job, especially like I'm sure you know how it is in the Middle East. I was working in consulting. You don't do 9 to 5. You do 9 to easily midnight actually. So I've been learning a lot over the past years in consulting in the region, but I feel also at some point I was like, all of this time I'm putting for someone else, basically for my company. Wouldn't I be able to put the same amount of time that's huge, that's massive, for something that I'm going to be building and that I'm going to be owning? So I think that was the thinking that has been in my mind for some time. And that's maybe one of the explanation that pushed me to actually take the jump and start my own business. But I would say that it's not this, not only this, because it's also about finding the right team. Because a couple of years ago, when I was like doing my studies, I wouldn't have believed I would be in my, let's say, close group of friends, the first one in actually quitting the job and starting a venture. So actually it's really about who you start the venture with. And I think that we've managed to find a good mix. So it's basically one of my previous colleague from my consulting firm that was also like, she's been launched a couple of small businesses here and there. She liked it, and she was always looking to launch something a bit bigger. So her, plus actually my sister that has just finished her studies, and her, like on the contrary to me, was always really like, Leah, as she was like 10 years old, I want to have my own business. I don't want to work for someone. You should do the same, etc., etc. So it's kind of the meeting of the three of us that really prompted me to say, okay, now I'm gonna take a chance at it. Especially that I started actually doing both, like my venture and my past job, at the point until that it became really like challenging and tiring and even not efficient. Actually, I decided, okay, let's just focus 100% on this startup, and let's do it like the three of us. So I think it's a mixture of just understanding that all of the work that you put, you could actually put the same, and the energy is something that you build and that you own. And second of all, like who you're going to be doing with the entire adventure. So yeah.
So now let's jump into the company, Maison Safka. I mean, Safa means deal in Arabic, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
so what is it exactly? Because I jump into the website, I'm seeing these countdowns everywhere, and there's a claim that you can get up to 70% discount on these very luxurious brands. So explain to us, like, how does this even work?
Yeah. So basically, we've built Maison Safka because we've seen a gap in the Middle East market that we wanted to tackle. And basically, this gap is the excess inventory past collections that the brands end up having at the end of each season, and they don't really know what to do with it. Or if they do something out of it, most of the time they lose a lot of money on it, or it's going to be in the end hurting a lot the brand image, especially if they sell the stock to some kind of players in the market that going to be putting like super aggressive discount all of the year, or selling it in other markets in ways that it doesn't respect the image and the equity of the brand. So basically we've come up with a concept that actually very successful in Europe, Asia, and in the US, that's called the flash sale model. And that's why you've been saying actually timed offer, because we want to support the brands to basically efficiently and elegantly clear the past season collections in a way that it doesn't hurt their brand image. So as you can see, our platform really has an elevated look and feel. It's not any kind of e-com. It doesn't look like, I don't know, there are a lot of platforms today that are very very successful, but basically when you enter on those platforms, it's a bit of an overwhelming experience for the customer. You have hundreds and thousands of items, discounts everywhere, you don't know where to look. With Maison Safka, we really work on curated selection, curated drops that we, let's say, split across the week, across the months, and across the year, so that each time it's kind of a new event for the customer. And that's how we're able to get the discounts. It's because we work with past season collection. But past season collection doesn't mean we're getting items from I don't know, 2010, 2018. Not at all. Like, we're getting items from season -1, season -2, season -3, which is like very fashionable items, especially when you talk about all of the commercial brands. Today, most of those brands, they produce the same items, the same colors, they change a bit the fabrics, but in the end, it's still very much fashionable, and you'll be getting it at half the price. So I think that's the entire, let's say, value proposition we want to get with Maison Safka, to get really like unique brands from premium to luxury brands with a unique discounts to our customer, and in a way for the brand that it really protects their image.
Okay, I mean, a couple of questions here, basic questions. Um, these are not, this isn't, we're not talking about food here. We're talking about luxury clothes and or luxurious items, which don't necessarily expire. You just have a new collection that comes in. Are you telling me that because of a new collection, the value of the older one, even if it's just the one right before, will depreciate so quickly that people will just want to get rid of them as fast as possible?
It will, yes. In the retail industry, then it's up to each, let's say, retailer to decide how to depreciate its stock. But let's say from a basic accounting point of view, each time a season finish, the stock is getting is losing value basically. So you get to minus season one, season -2, and already the stock would have lost 50% of its value. Of course, when you talk about very, very high luxury brands, maybe like Hermes, Chanel, Cartier, this is very different. But we're really let's say, tackling a lot of brands that are not those brands, starting with Adidas, New Balance, Maje, Sandro, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren. Talking about the beauty as well, where this problem of stock accumulation is huge. Definitely, it's losing value very quickly. It's losing value very quickly.
And how did you establish a relationship with these brands?
Um, I would say that part of it is really has been really helped a lot through the team, the advisor that we have on the team. So basically, luckily enough, we've been able to onboard the ex-CEO of Azadea and Senomi. So Azadea, big player in the region. Senomi, one of the largest retail group in Saudi. His name is Marwan Mukarzel. And he's been helping us a lot in initiating the first connection with the brands and the group. And I would say that from that point on, we've also like managed to, in some ways, to get to the right people. So again, by words of mouth, by contact, leveraging LinkedIn as well. Like, we shouldn't really underestimate the power of LinkedIn. I think like when you really like target 12 people and you have like a good, let's say, approach, and when there's a need in the market, people will answer you. So I think that through a combination of us trying to get to the right people and the advisors and board member that we have, we're managing to get this early on relationship with the brands.
It really sounds like you've surrounded yourself with very strong personalities that are helping you grow this very quickly. So,
Yeah.
Leah, I have to ask, how did you build your team? Advisors aside, how are you building your team? How are you selecting employees? I mean, this is all probably new experience for you since you were an employee. Was it a learning curve? Was someone helping you out? How does that happen?
To be honest, no one has been helping us out so far. It's more like you learn as you go. So, for example, our developer, we've been working with him for a year now, and it's basically someone we managed to reach out to through a brand actually that was already working with this person. So it's really based on the, of course, the capabilities of the person, but also the first impression. Because I feel like also being like hiring well someone requires experience, and when you've never done it, unfortunately, you kind of learn as you go, and you feel like, okay, maybe this person I thought was a good fit isn't actually that of a good fit. So for the next time, you'll know what are the things you need to be looking out to in order to get maybe someone that's more fitting to what you need. But really, it's us doing it the way we think is the right way. We try to, first of all, of course, think about the capabilities that we're looking for, the competencies in the person. Then we go into like really like a traditional job interview. We try to ask the right question as much as possible, to see, of course, if there's a fit with the person, and then we just make a call out of it. But yeah, so far it's really learning and trying, basically.
Leah, it's been almost a year. What has been the most challenging part of having your own business?
Oof. That's a really good question. The most challenging part. Um, I think sometimes it's just about the frustration, of you're having a vision of what your business should be, and needing actually to convince people to get them on board, be they brands, be they investors. It's really hard always to get everyone on the same page. Like you really believe strong in something, and you need to convince people. So this is, I think, the frustration of trying to always kind of oversell what you're doing, really try to convince people, and at the same time running your business as usual, and handling like the day-to-day issues, and making sure like everything is growing at the same time. I think it's one of the hardest thing we've been doing so far. So it's not even like something that has come to an end. It's kind of like an everyday an everyday process. And I think what's really important at some point is that we, as I feel like also as an entrepreneur, we always also need to be a bit of taking a step back. Because if you're are every day into, let's say, being frustrated or complaining, or kind of being so stressed because you don't see maybe the result that you want to see, then you go kind of in a vicious circle, and you just see everything in dark. Whereas if you take a step back and you think about, okay, everything we've been doing so far, the little wins, the little challenges, then you really see it like another way, and it keeps you going like for an extra week, extra months, etc., etc. But you really need like a lot of external support to do it, and of course your co-founders, because I think as a solo founders, for me, if I think about it, doing the same business as a solo founder, it would have been like so much harder. Like like I would say, and I'm sure you've realized that, if you haven't been through this, let's say, entrepreneurial journey and building your startup, you cannot even feel how hard it can be sometimes to go through it, actually. So I think, yes, this is the frustration is maybe the biggest challenge, but hopefully soon we're going to be rewarded a lot thanks to the all of the work.
Yeah, I'm going to end with this question. What is the next big milestone for Maison Safka?
Yeah. So I think the next big milestone is the fundraising that we've started actually to activate, and we're looking to raise $1 million US. So I think that once we would get there, it's going to be like a really good milestone, because it will really allow us to take Maison Safka to the next steps, both in terms of technology, investment in marketing, brands that we're going to be able to onboard. So this is something that we work really hard on, and we'll be very proud when we're going to be hitting this milestone.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
No, of course. Thanks a lot.